Did you hear about the rigged Republican primary in the Iowa area? Did you even know that the Republicans had a primary in Iowa? It happened the same day as that crazy Democrat caucus that ended up being such an enormous disaster and fiasco, which, by the way, I don't think they still have the final numbers from that yet. We do at least have the final numbers from the Republican primary. And maybe you didn't even know there were people running against Donald Trump, but there were. Now, before I give you the results, let me just mention this. There are several states that have already said they're not going to have a Republican primary because they're just going to give it to Trump. I'm against that. I'm a free market guy. I am an open election guy. Open doors. Anybody should have a chance to run and try to, gain a following. That makes all candidates better. And so I'm against closing these primaries. They need to be open. And so kudos to Iowa for having an open primary or caucus and for the Republicans. So here's how the whole thing worked out. Trump, now let me say this, there weren't as many people that voted because I know they think Trump's just going to win. 31,464 people voted for Donald Trump in the Republican primary. Now, second place was Bill Weld, and it was close. He had 426 votes. Bill Weld, by the way, is the former Republican governor of the state of Massachusetts. And then rounding out the bottom, or coming in third place, and a close third, I might add, was Joe Walsh, not the guitar player for the Eagles, but Joe Walsh, the former congressman from Illinois and radio talk show host. He had a whopping 348 votes. Let me mention those again. Trump, 31,464. Bill Weld, 426. Joe Walsh, 348. Now, Walsh is the one who said the election was rigged. The Republicans rigged this thing. And I sort of, scratch my head on that, and I want to ask him, so if it had not been rigged, how many votes would you have had? Enough to overtake Bill Weld? I mean, that would have taken like 100 votes. Or would it have been enough to take over Donald Trump? Because if it were, you would pretty much have to have had every vote go for you. I just don't think that was even close. So there's not really any rigging that went on. And by the way, votes were counted amazingly fast and easy. There were no issues there. Joe Walsh, another very funny thing too, the day before the election, he had a rally. And so he gave his entire speech. And then at the end of the speech, he said, after just slamming Trump for ever how long he spoke, his concluding remark was, "Who wants 4 more years of that?" And everybody stood up and applauded. Hey, you got to love these elections.